All right, welcome back to another Wright Stew podcast. I am Paul Stewart.
And I'm Brian Wright, and we're on Monday. And so yesterday, one of the things we didn't talk about before was kind of a Star Wars day.
Right, you know what? So today is Cinco de Mayo. So what's your relationship with Cinco de Mayo? What are you going for here?
I don't have any relationship with it. We've not bonded over anything. So I think in younger years of my life, I didn't, honestly, until probably I was in college, I didn't even recognize it as something that you would do or could possibly do, or if you're supposed to booze or eat Mexican that day. It's really just been, so through college you learn what Cinco de Mayo is. And then honestly, I don't have any kind of relationship with it.
It's not like Mexican Independence Day or anything. I've looked it up in the past, and I can't remember. It has to do with a battle or something of that nature. But it's not like it's not the 4th of July for them, right? It's not Mexican Independence Day.
No, I've got it real quick. As you were looking, it says Cinco de Mayo, held on May 5th, celebrates Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire at the Battle of Puebla in 1862, led by General somebody who died months later after the battle from illness. However, and a larger French force ultimately defeated the Mexican army in the second battle. So they won the first battle, they lost the second battle, same location. So I don't know how it gained kind of so much, kind of recognition. It's not like the 4th of July, right? That kind of birth of a nation, celebration of a independence. It feels like one that we've kind of adopted, and it's just another reason to have some good Spanish food and maybe have a cocktail.
I think Mexican restaurants are going to be busy tonight, and margaritas will be flowing for many people. But I think again, just I don't say a lot, but some holidays the United States has adopted as reasons to basically just to drink. St. Patrick's Day comes to mind as well, right? So just taking other cultures' holidays and turning them into
making them our own, right? You could even really say that about the religious holidays, Easter and Christmas, not from that standpoint, but from the standpoint that they were kind of based originally around pagan holidays. We tied them into the religious holidays. But I saw where Mookie Betts was asked.
Hold on, Mr. Betts. You mentioned May the 4th be with you.
That's where I was going to.
Okay, I'm sorry, my bad. I didn't know Mookie Betts had anything to do with Star Wars. Go ahead, sorry.
So they asked him. I feel like I would be like Mookie Betts. So somebody was asking him like a bunch of the characters that were within Star Wars, and Mookie, I think, was probably 2 for 10, maybe. He knew who Darth Vader was.
Yeah, if you don't know Darth Vader,
he didn't necessarily know the verbiage of Luke, I am your father, and it's debatable how it was actually said, but he's the one who said, I am your daddy. I mean, that's what Mookie said.
Yeah.
And so it's you tell me, where is Star Wars in a kind of a lexicon of movies you enjoy, still go back, you think fondly of? Where is it at in that?
I love Star Wars movies. Like as a kid, we had Star Wars on VHS.
Okay.
But we didn't buy it. We recorded it off of a television when they aired it. So it had, I had the whole thing memorized. I had the commercials memorized in the same order as we watched it so much that we started wearing out the tape. Like, remember when you used to do it and it would get kind of scratchy? I mean, love Star Wars, loved Empire Strikes Back, loved Return of the Jedi, was so stoked. So in 1999, the prequel came out, right? Episode 1, because it was always episode 4, 5, 6. And I remember literally a handful of us from the Stockton ports, because it was a big deal for us. We grew up with that, and the movie came out, and we a group of us got together to go see the movie, and we were so disappointed in the prequels and stuff like that. But and it's so odd though. Like I talk to my nephews now. My kids haven't really watched the prequels because I hate them, so I don't ever show them. But they've seen them. But my nephews really like all the prequels because they've only known those to be part of the canon. Like for people who grew up with Star Wars, like these just aren't as good. Um, so I love Star Wars growing up, man. But it's the kind of the older, more traditional ones that came out. I don't anticipate. I anticipate you being more of a Mookie Betts. Probably know a handful of the
Unfortunately, I am,
characters.
dude. For some reason, dude, I was in the movies, especially when you're in minor league ball and even college baseball. You try to find things to do that don't make you tired. And so watching movies is definitely, dude. I found myself not. I felt like I was kind of. There's so many people that are just die hard. But dude, I thought 4, 5, and 6 excellent movies. I didn't hate because I wasn't as much of a fan. I didn't hate 1, 2, and 3 as much because I don't think I was as committed. Again, I was born in '80. These movies came out really before I was born, and
Well, Star Wars was what 77, 78.
I think so.
Empire's
Yeah.
in 80. Return of the Jedi was like 82,
So they were
83.
kind of obviously they still got a big following, but really their heyday was kind of before my brain had kicked on, right? And
Yeah.
so
Well, I
I
was
feel
still
like,
super
and
young. Yeah, I was super young, but
yeah, so you were, probably the guys you were playing with as being a 17, 18-year-old, you probably fit right in because a lot of those guys were probably 2 or 3, 4 years older than you. They were going to
yeah,
watch it in
yeah. It
'99.
was such a huge deal. And then they re-released like the original Star Wars in theaters because George Lucas did some new things, and it's amazing what they did back in the day with the limited tools that they had from a technology perspective, uh, and how just I mean amazing they made it
Hey,
look.
what are those little cars called that got the little two nose pieces out front? And they rode them around. I feel like they were battling maybe with some Wookiees or
Oh,
something.
and the Ewoks, like the I don't know what they're called, like the gliders, I guess.
Anyway, glider sounds good. I've seen where they have modern day invented those.
I saw that. Yeah.
I mean, that seems, and
I
it has
thought
a
that
long
was
little front end. It looks dangerous.
I thought that was
Um,
just like a fake thing on the internet. I didn't know that was
no,
real.
no, no. They're legitimately selling. I think they're. I mean, it's an outrageous price,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it's fan kind of, drone type technology. But it is, yeah, really cool. I would like to ride one of those things.
So do you
Who was your favorite character? I mean, you're a real fan. I'm more of like, I would watch it in passing just because I enjoy being
yeah.
entertained. Who was your favorite like main character? Can't
Not
say Luke.
yeah, I was gonna say, gosh, man, like I like the Han Solo Chewbacca relationship. That was always good. Non-main, like a side.
Yeah, like a side character.
I
Like
mean,
Bubba Vat, he had his own deal.
well, then he had his own show later on,
Yeah,
more recently. Maybe like Lando Calrissian was
he
it?
was very funny. He was very
He
funny.
was funny, and then he had another kind of run at it when Han Solo had his own movie later on, and a young Lando was played by Donald Glover, which I really liked. That he was kind of a smooth guy. That was good.
Well, I remember, and again, not to go, I wasn't trying to go completely down this
That's
road.
the Star
But
Wars.
I remember liking like the little ones, like young Anakin when he was learning how to race the cars, and clearly the Force was with him. So you didn't like it.
No, no, it's too much. I don't know, dude. It's just I think expectations
We're,
expectations were like
that's exactly right. Your
they were like the
expectations. I
Dodgers.
went in with no expectations.
They were like the Dodgers 2025 season. Expectations are for them to win 120 games. If they don't do that, it's a fail. That's kind of what it's like. Yeah, it's good. Um, they were just through the roof. So I don't know, man. But it was I'll still pop on Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back and just if we're just around the house, I'll just turn it on and have it on and let it
So
play.
how about 7, 8, 9? I guess they're not considered prequels. Were you fans of those?
I liked the seventh one because if you look at the storyline, it's very much like Star Wars. So Ray learns her power in the Force. Yeah, has kind of a quest that she's going on. It brought back Leia and Han Solo and Chewbacca and 3PO and R2D2 and Luke is there at the very end. Spoiler alert for me, I haven't seen it, but Um, so and again, then the eight was okay, and then nine I just didn't. Nine again, I didn't really care if it was just kind of too much, maybe, or didn't. I don't know. I saw that one at a company event. One of the partners I used to work with, they rented out a couple of theaters. And I'm in tech, so it kind of tracks that a lot of tech people would be in a Star Wars, and they sold out or they gave away tickets to two different theaters and had a pretty cool event. But um, I don't know. Yeah, the seventh I really liked, but then 8, 9 not as much. Kylo Ren was
Gotcha.
kind of
Yeah.
fun. Kylo Ren was a fun character, but yeah. So
How about villain? Let's go real quick. Your favorite villain?
Darth Vader's the best. I mean, you gotta say Darth Vader, right? That was the other thing with part one. Darth Maul. You remember Darth Maul?
Wasn't he the red guy, kind of demon
Yeah,
looking
red
fella?
black face sort of thing. Dude was in the movie for like 5 minutes and then got killed at the end.
Yeah,
And he was like, they built that Joker up.
he was cool. He was cool
They
looking.
built him up all summer. Like, oh, Darth Maul, this guy's going to be the next like Darth Vader. And he dies. Like right at the beginning, like the first step, like let's keep this guy around for a little bit. Let him live.
So, just your expectations. Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I think you hit on a couple of things. Expectations, lowered expectations. Again, SNL had a great skit on that back in the day. They were showing two fat people that were like dating.
Yeah.
It's like lowered expectation, and like if your expectations are low, you can't be disappointed.
Under promise and over deliver, baby.
Hey, real quick though. Hey, Wolfpack. You don't see this often, but you do see it in college baseball just because of time schedules and different things. Took 2 L's, and then yesterday, Sunday, played an inning or two, was down 1 or 2 nothing, and then they banged the game. Game canceled, so game will not be made up. They're stuck around 30 and I think 15 now, so they're still in good position. But man, baseball is such a fickle sport, and there's so many good teams. I don't think they're hosting. That they would have to have done some special things to host.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I think they're going to the bubble of that 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Where
a chance maybe to host first, but definitely not to be
not a super regional. Yeah, I mean to get there. The other big matchup in the ACC yesterday, though, number 5 Florida State, number 3 Clemson. Florida State ended up taking 2 out of 3, so Clemson has lost 5 out of their last 6 conference games. And then yesterday's game, I don't know if you got to see it, Brian, but
I did not.
So Florida State scored one. They're at home. Scored 1 in the first. Had a 7-run second, so they're up 8-0. And the third scored 2 more. They're up 10-0. Then Clemson, they score 5 in the top of the fourth. So then it's 11-5. They score 4 more in the sixth. So it's 11-9. They're coming back. They're hitting home runs all. Let me look it up. I don't know how many home runs were hit yesterday, but it felt like every other daggone at bat, every swing of the bat was a home run. But they were killing the ball. But
Well, I'll say this: I feel like the BB Core bats are continuing to get a little bit better each year, and I'll say physically the kids are stronger and stronger and stronger every year. So the combination of the two is pretty incredible.
Yeah, and then Florida State ended up just pulling away at the end. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 home runs for Florida State, and 2 for Clemson. So a lot of home runs being hit.
Yeah, that's how you chicks dig the long ball.
Yeah, that's it. And so home runs, Brian. So Brian, it's Monday, and you know what that means?
Athlete of the week.
Athlete. You should know. Athlete, you should know. We're going to get this right one day, Brian.
No, I'm just going to keep messing it up. I knew what it was. I don't know. I was just
okay. The athlete you should know.
Absolutely.
So let me give you the quick little history of why we're talking about who we're going to talk about today. So the other day, Eugenio Suarez hit 4 home runs, and so my son and I were in the car, and he goes, "Dad, has anybody ever hit 5 in the big leagues?" I said, no, not 5. A couple guys have come close, right? And I said, Marshall McDougal in college for Florida State hit 6. He was 6 for 6 that day with 6 home runs. It was a crazy game. And then I remembered, I said, but hey, I played against a guy in high school who hit 5 home runs in a game. And so this is the athlete you should know. A guy named Sean Gallagher.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know Sean Gallagher?
Yeah, he was at Southeast Guilford, right? Is that right?
New Hanover High School.
Oh, okay. So I may be mistaken.
Okay.
No, I do not.
So let me tell you. So Sean Gallagher, tied the national record for hitting streak. He hit in 51 straight games in high school for New Hanover High School, the New Hanover Wildcats. 51 straight, so incredible. A few of those games were against Garner High School. We always played them every year. A couple of those hits may have been off Paul Stewart. You know,
Actual been. Yeah.
definitely were. I remember Sean Gallagher had a violent swing, just but controlled. Amazing swing. Um, I remember I threw him. So they came and played us my junior year, which was he was class of '95, his senior year, and they moved the game to NC State because State was recruiting me. I think they were recruiting him at the time as well, and so they moved the game to NC State, and I threw him a 1-2 forkball. That was a good pitch, like a good pitch. He hit a linea, a missile over the center field fence. Remember that they used to have cages back there in center field? It landed on top of the cages. Like he destroyed the ball.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, sure did. That's where they.
And
Yeah, that's right.
so Sean Gallagher ends up tying the national record for hit streak, gets drafted by the Texas Rangers in the fifth round of that year's draft. Plays a couple years of pro baseball, and then I think his first couple years didn't really hit his stride. Right? Let's see. So first yeah, couple year actually first year in pro ball, short season, hit 322, and then hits kind of average 224, 242 a little bit in 1996 between a couple teams. 1997 hits 262, buck 41 against a couple teams. And then finally in 1998 kind of hits like we know he could hit. So he hits 308, drives in 121 runs, and hits 26 home runs in the minor league. Right? So he's I think he's the South Atlantic League Player of the Year that year.
That was low A then.
Yeah. So 26 home runs, 121 RBIs, 18 stolen bases, 111 runs scored. So he was the MVP of that was the Florida State League. Sorry, MVP of the Florida
That's
State.
high. Yeah.
So first ever player to drive in 100 runs and score 100, drive in and score 100 runs in the Florida State League in the same season. So pretty incredible,
So
really solid. So that off season, he's playing paintball, falls out of a tree. This is and separates his shoulder, and he gets released somehow a couple years later, a year later. But I think just never finds his stride. I think the shoulder thing really messed him up because he just couldn't get that same mojo back, right? So 2001 in Double A is his last year in pro ball. Hits 264, 4 home runs, nothing, but with the Royals organization. So you think, hey, that's a minor league, really good high school guy, had a shot, had a good year. Let me tell you where the story proceeds, Brian. Now this is the part that is kind of like to me just wild. So fast forward a couple years. So I am in Venezuela playing winter ball. And I'm playing, one of my teammates is a guy named Sean Sedlacek. Sean played in the big leagues for a little bit, pitched in the big leagues. And Sean says, and we're just talking. I said, dude, who's the smartest guy you ever played with? And he goes, Sean Gallagher, hands down. Sean, I'm like, what? Like, I said, Sean Gallagher from like North Carolina, from he's like, do you know him? I'm like I played against him, I don't really know him. He's like, dude, this guy is the smartest guy I've ever. I'm like, are you serious? Because I didn't know I just thought he's a good hitter. I didn't think of him being a smart guy. I guess I didn't think about stuff like that. And so I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, one day at minor league camp, the hitting coordinator was like really just on a burner, ticked off at everybody. They weren't hitting the ball good. And he goes, I want everybody to write down, go to your hotel tonight, go to wherever you go at night, and write down what your approach is at the plate when you're stepping in the batter's box. And so Brian, what would you have written? You would have written probably a paragraph or two, maybe.
Yeah, nothing really long. I think simpler is better.
Yeah. And that's what he said. Most people came in with a scrap sheet of paper, or maybe, one of those little hotel notepads that you get. He said Sean Gallagher came with like an 8-page report on everything from why he steps into the batter's box the way he does, how he puts his batting gloves on, the way he adjusts his cup. Like, I don't know if that detailed, but the most minute thing, he was explaining why he does it, how he does it, what's the purpose of it, those sort of thing. And he's like the hitting coordinator was he took it like wanted to like copy it and share it. He goes, Sean MF and Gallagher wrote this paper. Sean Gallagher. And it's like, I'm like, oh my God. So Sean Gallagher, after baseball, Brian, attended Massachusetts Institute of Technology, better known as MIT, became the first student ever to earn an undergraduate and master's degree in nuclear engineering within 4 years. Upon graduation, MIT turned Gallagher's thesis into a patent on a radiation detection system capable of detecting nuclear weapons in cargo container ships.
Wow. I had no idea, dude. That's
This is
super
just
cool.
let's fast forward. Then Gallagher served as the NSC director for nuclear threat reduction from June 2010 to August 2012, with primary responsibility for President Obama's nuclear security agenda, including the 4-year lockdown effort and nuclear security summit process. So he worked like under President Obama.
I don't know how proud to be of that, but still cool.
I mean, that's pretty. I mean, I don't care. And I'm reading this from Wikipedia. So Gallagher is credited for innovating a new form of diplomacy called gift basket diplomacy that he helped implement through the Nuclear Security Summit preparatory process, and that has since been exported to multilateral, such as climate change and non-proliferation negotiations.
All right, I'm starting to like him less and less and less.
I just thought the guy was a great hitter. I mean,
super smart, dude. You don't do what you. I mean, MIT is an historic institution. You don't do things nobody else has ever done.
No,
without an exceptional work ethic, an exceptional mind. But I do remember that name. I thought he was from somewhere else, but I definitely remember hearing that name. Yeah. I mean, if you would have graduated in '95, I was a sophomore. So I was a bit younger, but still, really, really incredible.
And he was part of. I said those New Hanover teams during that era. I think they won back-to-back state titles.
But you had Trot down there too, right?
So Trot Nixon is the most famous alumni from the baseball program of New Hanover. He was actually my freshman year. He was a senior, and so again, New Hanover. We had a good relationship with the school from the baseball perspective. We always played kind of like a home and home with them. So Trot's senior year, I was a freshman, and I remember. It was a big, like everybody knew who he was, right? He was a top 10. He was going to be a top 10 pick. He was also committed to play quarterback at NC State. Trot Nixon was, and so New Hanover played Garner the very first game of the high school baseball season, and so all of us JV guys were, we practiced earlier today, and the game staff, and so we're like, man, we're going to watch Trot Nixon play against our guys, and literally every major league scout had somebody at that game. And as a ninth grader, he's like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Like I
what do you remember him being different? I remember him being, I don't know if I saw him or I think I may have saw him. I just remember him being really thick and physically mature really early. What's your first recollection?
So same thing. So he pitched and hit, but he played right field this game. And I remember seeing him out there and just had kind of a little bit, a couple buttons unbuttoned, so a little chest popping out a little bit. He had a t-shirt on, but just a big. And I was tall at that. I was probably taller than him, but he was much thicker than I was. And I remember watching the pregame, him like cannon of an arm, coming in. But Garner actually beat New Hanover in the first. We beat them 4-2, and then New Hanover didn't lose the game the rest of the year. They ripped off like 35 straight and won the state title. I think that was maybe the first of 3 in a row that they won because they were. I mean, they were loaded, dude. I think they found out a couple years later they were doing some things with like districting where they were. Yeah, a couple of kids probably should have went to a different high school, but
And it wasn't quite as enforced as hard as maybe as it is now, or could be. I know there's still some of that stuff going on with football. I
yeah,
thought you were bringing up Gallagher because Iran is getting their nuclear weapon and claimed to be, ready to show the world their authority. And so I didn't know if you were tying that back in.
Well, Sean Gallagher's he's gonna take care of that. He's gonna have to.
What's he doing now? Well, what's modern day?
So I actually texted with him a couple of years ago. He has a daughter. I know at least one daughter who played softball, and so his daughter was a couple years ahead of mine. So I was reaching out, just trying to pick his brain around like recruiting and how to best.
Did you know who you were really talking to at that point, or not?
I think I knew I knew all the stuff going on.
Gotcha.
But and he remembered, he said, "Oh man, Paul said, what a blast from the past." And we just kind of talked recruiting for a second and wished each other luck and that sort of thing. But yeah, super nice. And again, on his Wikipedia, it says Gallagher was the head of the nationally recognized Ashburn Shooting Stars Youth Girls Softball program from 2014 to 21, one of the largest programs in the DC area. Gallagher is a vocal advocate for female sports, noting the gender inequality between baseball and softball, and attempts to close the commercial gap. So, I mean,
I don't even know what that means. So, is there gender inequality?
Well, kind of like what they did with the the NCAA tournament a couple years ago, where the men's had the best accommodations, and then the women. Remember when they showed the women's locker room, and it was like. Or the weight room.
Not great. Yeah. Okay. I was just confused. I wasn't 100% sure what I don't. I'm not opposed to advocacy.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a daughter that plays.
Yeah. And her accommodations aren't the best, but it was. I wasn't sure what the angle was. Yeah.
So I mean, kind of equality, right? Maybe not equality, but like let's raise the standard. I think that's definitely happening. So man, so hey, for all of you young men and young ladies playing your favorite sport out there, we hope you achieve the highest of your ability to the highest level. But no, there's definitely other stuff out there that can certainly make a difference and matter. And maybe if you apply yourself, you can be the next Sean Gallagher and get a couple of degrees from some prestigious institution. I mean,
really impressive. Really impressive.
Absolutely. I have no. I mean, we're doing a podcast, Brian.
I feel like that feels like a commitment. I mean, it really does. Hey, get us out of here, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, well, thank you all for listening today. We appreciate it. If you have anybody you would like to nominate for athlete you should know, hey, let us know. Send us over a little note. It's Wright Stewart Podcast at gmail.com. That's Wright, like Brian's last name. Stewart, like mine. Podcast at gmail.com. So we appreciate y'all listening today.
Out. Go Pack. Go Tigers.